Welcome back to Compliance Checking Tutorial 2. Here we'll show you how we check files using the compliance checking system. Once a file checker logs in, they get a full view of all of the file checks that are ongoing in their system at any one time. Here we'll look at cases requiring file checks. A new case has been added for a customer called John Stevens. Let's access the case notes. By clicking here, the file checker actually goes into the same screen as was completed by the advisor that's done the case. You can see the advisors added various information about the customer's previous mortgage and new mortgage. You can see that it's a mortgage sale with no protection, it's a vice sale, and the advisors added various documentation in, such as a fact find and ID verification, etc. The compliance officer and file checker will use this information when completing their own suitability checks and grading the file. The next step for the file checker is to check on the file checking link and to open up the necessary suitability check for this type of case. Compliance checking has a wide variety of suitability checks that could be undertaken at any time, depending on the type of case. We also understand that many customers have their own particular suitability checks and questions that they would like answered. For that reason, we don't just have our own suitability checks, but can add in any file checklist that the customer wants us to add to the system. Giving regard to the stored documentation that the broker's added, the file checker goes through and answers the relevant questions. For example, are all relevant documents attached and mandatory CC fields completed appropriately? File checker will select the relevant answer according to the information that's been scanned in and completed by the broker on the system. Here we'll say file check complete. Where there is insufficient information for a file checker to be able to make a decision, they can ask for additional information or state that remedial action is required. For example, it could well be that the broker has not stated in this case that he's discussed with the client the possibility of a further advance with their existing lender. In this case, the file checker could ask for further information by adding additional notes here. When asking for additional information, a file checker should also ask for a due date. This gives the advisor a timescale in which to get the additional information. Here we'll give it 3 days. When all of the checks have been completed, the file checker can give the case a suitability grade. Here we'll say pass with developments. File checker then saves the case and closes it. Thereafter, the file checker saves and exits the case. We can see that in a file checker's workflow, John Stevens' case has now changed. And it's currently showing that a suitability check is ongoing and remedial action is required. The next time that the broker logs into their compliance checking system, they'll see that a compliance notification has appeared. It states the name of the case, John Stevens, and the number. By clicking in a case, further details will appear with regards to additional information and clarification that's required. And here the question with regards to debt consolidation and options available to the client have been asked. The advisor can simply go in, update their fact find, add an additional note to the file explaining the information, and click to say that the matter has now been completed. They can then save and exit the case. The suitability check has now disappeared from the advisor's front screen. The system is very simple. It does not ask advisors to check through full lists of suitability checks and brings the most relevant questions to their attention immediately. By putting a deadline date in, the advisor knows when he needs to answer the query, and it means that attention is paid in a timely manner to any outstanding issues. The fact that documentation is stored centrally on a secure server also assists the advisor from a data protection perspective. Cases will then move within the business summary for the advisor, and he's able to see that his customers are being handled in a compliant and professional manner. In addition to the Compliance Officer view and the Advisor view, principals and compliance officers within firms can also have an overriding view of individual advisors' business. And they can also see the stages that cases are at, outstanding requirements, how cases are actually being handled, and how requests for additional information is being handled. A full reporting suite is also available in order to see how compliance work is undertaken within your business. That concludes Compliance Checking Tutorial 2. We hope that you found it useful, and if you have further information, please do contact us via the website at complaince.co.uk.